right, so this is going to be another movie review. This one's called Return to Oz, 1985. I'm giving it 3 out of 5 stars. I was right. This is going to be another Adrian mentioned. It was below my expectations, I have to admit. It's a Disney PG 1985 dark fantasy film released by Walt Disney Pictures. Directed and written by Walter Murch. Don't know who that is. Co-written by Gil Dennis and produced by Paul Maslansky. Don't know who that is. Stars Nicol Williamson, Merlin from Excalibur. It's got a bunch of other actors that I never heard of or was too lazy to look up. It's also got Matt Clark as Uncle Henry. Fairuza Balk is Dorothy Gale in her first screen role, and she gets a bonus feature interview here. Not too many bonus features on here, just a bunch of just one interview with her, Dorothy. What else is on this Disney disc? It's there are a bunch of TV spots and a trailer. The film is an unofficial sequel to the 1939 MGM film The Wizard of Oz and is based on L. Frank Baum's early 20th century Oz novels, mainly The Marvelous Land of Oz, 1904, and Ozma of Oz, 1907. In the plot, Dorothy returns to the land of Oz to find that it's been conquered by the Gnome King. She must restore it with her new friends Bellina, Tick-Tock, Jack Pumpkinhead, the Gump, and Princess Ozma. In 1954, Walt Disney Productions bought the film rights to Baum's remaining Oz books to use in the television series Disneyland. This led to the live action film Rainbow Road to Oz, which was never completed. I would have liked to have seen that. Murch suggested making another Oz film in 1980. Disney approved the project as they were due to lose the film rights to the series. Though MGM was not involved in the production, Disney had to pay a large fee to use the ruby slippers created for the 1939 film. Return to Oz fell behind schedule during production, and following a change of Disney management, Murch was briefly fired and rehired, I guess. Return to Oz was released in theaters on June 21st, 1985. It performed poorly at the box office, grossing $11.1 million in the United States on a $28 million budget. Let's see, that's a $17 million loss. And it received mixed reviews, with critics praising the effects and performances, but criticizing the dark content and twisted visuals. That's the only reason to watch, with many deeming it inferior to the original film. Yeah, I have to agree with that. However, it performed well outside the U.S. and has since acquired a cult following. Adrian likes it, from fans of the Oz books, for being more faithful to L. Frank Baum's works and those who saw the film at a young age. It received an Oscar nomination for Best Visual Effects. Okay. In autumn 1899, Dorothy Gale's obsession with the land of Oz troubles her Auntie Em and Uncle Henry, who believes she is delusional. They take her to the sanitarium with Dr. Worley, played by Nicol Williamson, Merlin, from Excalibur, where, under the care of Nurse Wilson, Dorothy is about to receive electroshock therapy when lightning causes a power failure. Dorothy is freed by a mysterious girl who tells her that Worley's machines damage patients, and the two escape. That was a highlight of the movie right there. I thought Dorothy was going to get electroshock therapy, but she narrowly escapes. Nurse Wilson chases them into a river where the other girl is washed away, but Dorothy escapes on board a floating chicken coop. Dorothy wakes up in Oz with her chicken Bellina, who can now talk. They follow a damaged yellow brick road to the Emerald City, now in ruins, and its citizens turned to stone. They are attacked by the Wheelers. Another great looking prop. I think the Wheelers and the Dr. Worley are the reason to watch. And I think the first one is kind of dark and scary too, especially when the Wizard of Oz appears and with all those smoke and mirrors. It freaked out his half-sister when I took her to Stanford Theater to watch The Wizard of Oz 1939. She started going, "Eh." Anyways, people with wheels instead of hands and feet are the Wheelers. But Dorothy and the chicken Bellina are saved by a mechanical man, TikTok, from the attack of the Wheelers. The lead Wheeler tells them that King Scarecrow has been captured by the Gnome King, who is responsible for the Emerald City's destruction. Now, here's another thing I don't understand about this film, or the first one. Dorothy violated the non-aggression principle by killing the Wicked Witch of the West. The Wicked Witch of the West never did anything to Dorothy to deserve being killed. And there's similar situation, like there's no plot to this, because the Gnome King had his emeralds stolen. He was merely getting them back. Dorothy's point that Scarecrow wasn't responsible for the theft is beside the point. He still had a right to get his property back, regardless of who was king at the time. So that's what I think about the Gnome King. I think the Gnome King was not a bad guy. He was just doing the right thing. And he tried to explain it to Dorothy, but Dorothy wasn't having any of it. She kept saying, "Oh, it's not the Scarecrow's fault." It doesn't matter. Anyways, Dorothy, Bellina, and TikTok travel to the castle of Mombi, Princess of Oz, who intends to take Dorothy's head for her collection. She imprisons the group at the top of the castle with Jack Pumpkinhead, who explains he was brought to life by Mombi's powder of life. The four construct a flying creature out of furniture with the head of a gump, a moose-like animal, and Dorothy steals the powder from Mombi to bring it to life. As the gump flies them across the deadly desert, Mombi has Wheelers take her in pursuit of Dorothy. Yeah, the Wheelers got stuck in the desert, because if they touch the desert, then they instantly turn into sand. So they went back. I don't know how Mombi got the Wheelers to the castle. It's all off camera. After flying all night, the Gump crashes on the Gnome King's mountain, where Dorothy is reunited with Scarecrow, who is turned into an ornament by the Gnome King. He challenges the group to identify which one in the room full of ornaments. But if they fail after 3 attempts, they will become ornaments themselves, with each failure making him more human. Once the Gump, Jack, and TikTok all fail, the Gnome King reveals to Dorothy he has her lost ruby slippers, which he had used to conquer Oz. He offers to use them to send her home instead, but Dorothy refuses, and she begins her turn in the ornament room while Mombi arrives at the mountain. How she arrived, I don't know. With that desert there blocking her. Anyways, with their last guest, Dorothy finds Scarecrow, and she realizes that people from Oz turn into green objects, proceeding to restore Jack and the Gump. Enraged, the Gnome King imprisons Mombi in a cage for allowing their escape, then grows to a gigantic size and prepares to eat Dorothy and her companion. Jack is about to be eaten when Bellina, hiding in a Jack's head, lays an egg that falls into the Gnome King's mouth, fatally poisoning him. So the Gnome King ate the sofa, but not the Gump head. So the Gump head is still intact. All right. Dorothy retrieves the ruby slippers, and she hurriedly puts them on as the ornament room and all of the subterranean gnome kingdom collapses. She wishes for the group to be returned to restored Emerald City, where upon arriving, they notice a green medal on Gump's antler, which Dorothy restores into TikTok. The people of Oz ask Dorothy to be their queen, but she expresses her desire to return home to Kansas. Princess Ozma, the rightful owner of Oz, I don't know about that. I think the Gnome King is the rightful owner of Oz, is freed by Dorothy from the mirror Mombi imprisoned her in and ascends the throne. It's the same girl who helped Dorothy escape from the sanitarium. And she presumably drowned in the river while Dorothy was safe in the chicken coop. Ozma receives the ruby slippers from Dorothy, and she uses them to send Dorothy home, promising she can one day return if she wishes it, while Bellina chooses to stay in Oz because Kansas is too boring for the chicken. Dorothy wakes up on a riverbank in Kansas where she is found by her family. Auntie M tells her the clinic was struck by lightning and burned down. Everyone survived except Worley, who died trying to save his machines. And Nurse Wilson is arrested for some reason because she played Mombi. One of the iterations of Mombi. There are 3 iterations of Mombi. Jean Marsh played the first iteration of Mombi. Sophie Ward was Mombi 2, and Fiona Victory was Mombi 3 because she kept changing her head. I like the beginning of the movie with the sanitarium and the Wheelers. They look really creepy, those Wheeler guys. That was pretty cool. The rest of the movie I disliked. I thought it was just a regular kids movie. The last hour or so, I didn't really care for, but anyways. Return to Oz had its world premiere in the United States on June 21st, 1985, opening in 1,300 theaters, including Radio City Music Hall in New York City. Disney spent approximately $6 million on printing and advertising to promote the film, as well as adding a scene on the Return to Oz float, including characters from the film, which appeared as part of Disneyland's Main Street Electrical Parade. The film was released in London theaters on July 11th, 1985, a few weeks later. The film has been released to VHS, Betamax, Laserdisc, DVD, and Blu-ray over the years. The initial release to VHS, Laserdisc, and Betamax occurred on December 1985, shortly after the theatrical release, with the VHS initially priced with a list price of $79.95. No wonder people went to mom and pop stores to rent this stuff. Disney reissued it in 1992 with alternate cover art. In 1999, Anchor Bay Entertainment, who obtained the home video rights to several titles from Disney's live action catalog, issued the film on full screen and letterbox VHS, as well as a DVD release featuring both versions. All three versions featured an intro by Fairuza Balk before the film and an interview featurette with her after it. Yeah, that's the one I got. That's the one I saw. All three versions went out of print shortly after the release. In 2004, Disney released their own DVD, which dropped the Anchor Bay disc full stream version and added anamorphic enhancement of 16:9 TVs for the widescreen version, upgraded the audio to 5.1 surround, retained the Anchor Bay's discs extras, and added 4 TV spots and a theatrical trailer. Okay, that's the version I saw, the 2004 Disney disc. And I showed it to you, my Health from Frogtown. Hell Comes to Frogtown review, which Adrian couldn't find on Thursday morning. But I sent him the link, and he got busy doing something else. In 2015, Disney released a 30th anniversary edition of the film on Blu-ray, exclusively through the Disney Music Club, featuring a newly remastered and cleaned up transfer and DTS Master Audio 5.1 sound, but none of the bonus features from the 2004 DVD. It is featured in the From the Vault film section of Disney's streaming platform, Disney Plus. It earned $2.8 million in its opening weekend, finishing in 7th place, and $6.5 million in 10 days after release. After the opening weekend, Commonwealth Theaters reported that some venues took between just $300 to $400, considered at that time to be poor. Jeff Love, city manager of this theater chain, believed it had been due to the bad release time, suggesting that they should have released it when people didn't have anything to do. It should have been before people got out and started going on vacation. Love went on to suggest that the perception of it being a children's film was another problem. It ultimately grossed $11.1 million in North America. So there you have it. Everything from Wikipedia that I could find. And not a great flick, but I was disappointed. But let's go through my list, shall we? Because Karate Man added another one while Adrian was doing his business. The true Australians are the only ones recommending stuff or mentioning stuff. I'm not going to review Dracula. It's not going to happen. I made the mistake of putting a bunch of movies that I've already seen on my Netflix queue. Some sci-fi fanatic guy made a comment, "Oh, you should review this stuff." Okay. I'll do it for you since you're a newbie, but I don't think I'm going to do that anymore, at least for Dracula. Okay, Without Warning, 1980. I started watching it. It's a Predator ripoff. As Adrian mentioned, it's got Jack Palance, Martin Landau, some television guy, and it's got Cameron Mitchell. And it's got what's that guy's name? I can't remember that guy's name. Sorry. It's got another great actor in it that I haven't seen yet. Hasn't made an appearance yet. But I'll tell you the similarities between Without Warning and Predator. Later on. I haven't actually seen Predator, but I have it on my Netflix queue. Okay, Revolt of the Zombies, another Adrian mention. Assault on Devil's Island. That's a Karate Man recommendation. Shoot Fighter 2, 1996, another Karate Man recommendation. Samurai Cop, another Adrian mention. Attack of the Mayan Mummy, 1964, Jerry Warren. The Assassination, another Karate Man recommendation. The Screaming Skull, Mystery Science Theater 3000 version, number 912. That's an Adrian mention. Slaughter's Big Ripoff, 1973. The Italian Connection Manhunt. Not sure about the year on that one, 1972 or 73. Track of the Moon Beast. Tormented, 1960. And last but not least, Mackenzie's Island, 1998. Another Karate Man recommendation. So that's my list. I went through all the stuff on Wikipedia, box office, background information. Went through the plot. I didn't spoil the ending. I didn't go through everything on Wikipedia, just the box office, the theatrical, the plot, and the background. So there you go. There you have it. My review for Return to Oz. I was not impressed as much as Adrian was. The beginning of the movie showed promise. I was looking forward to that. That met my expectations, but then it started going downhill from there. So I'm going to return this today. And sorry that I didn't like it as much as Adrian, but that's the way the cookie crumbles sometimes. He's given me a lot more decent recommendations than turds. This one's not a turd, but it's halfway decent. So thank you for the recommendation or the mention. Just to let you know, I think I took my son to watch a cartoon Oz movie that nobody liked except for me. And that was what triggered Adrian to mention Return to Oz. Let me see if I can find that movie on my channel. And I'll tell you what movie I watched with my son and my mother before she got dementia and died. I'm still waiting for her estate money, which is less than $10,000, but it's better than nothing. Okay, I was expecting to get nothing from her, but I guess the conservator in Butte County did a good job of managing her assets, whatever they were. Whatever she got from the Paradise Fire fiasco. All right. Legends of Oz, Dorothy's Return, 2014. That is the movie that I watched with my son and my mother on the big screen. And then Adrian commented, "Oh, check out Return to Oz." So I put on my Netflix queue. I finally got it. 2014. That's how many years later? But I have it from 2017 on my Netflix queue. So I think I'm only about 5 years behind on putting movies on my Netflix queue, because I got 500 on my Netflix queue. And the top ones are from 2017, I think. Return to Oz must have been on my save queue, and it worked its way up more slowly. So that's the story behind that. And I think I'm done. I'm ready for my nappy poo. And then I'll go down my list finally. Anyways, I'm going to return this disc today. And we'll be getting some more next week, I think. Let me check my Netflix queue to see when the new arrivals are coming. I can give you a more accurate picture here. Not that you'll be wanting to watch my lame stream oldies section. But I got a bunch of newer stuff coming up. Not next week, but the following week. And I don't know if I'll be working crazy hours starting August, but I hope I am. I got a pretty decent paycheck. It wasn't spectacular, but it was decent. And I got it today. I paid a couple bills. So I'm all caught up on my bills, but I didn't pay my car bill because I didn't have enough money on my checking account to pay for my car bill and everything else. So I'm looking forward to my mother's estate check. Hopefully I'll get it today. And then I can just pay everything and stick a big chunk into my Robinhood account, which is way up today. I think one of my stocks is up 60%. I showed my son, and he was pretty impressed, I guess. Somewhat. Not really. It's too bad that it went down so far and then it shot back up again before I actually bought it. Or after I actually bought it, I should say. Okay, so Red River, 1948, and the Roaring Twenties, 1939, are both estimated to arrive on Monday. It's kind of funny. Netflix algorithm predicted that I would rate Return to Oz exactly 3 out of 5 stars. So there you have it. The Netflix algorithm is also accurate for once. Usually it's off by a couple stars, but today it's accurate for once. Laters.